Hi, I'm Joanne Wright Callender, the author of The Happy Little Garbage Truck. It's a wonderful picture book that not only children enjoy because the wonderful pictures and illustrations, rather, by Steve Shot, but I try to, within this book, incorporate some basic social skills. And I found that many children are so much more able to pick up these skills when it's incorporated in a fun story. So that's part of teaching. As we know, it's like you always try to revise what you're doing and adapt to a situation. And the little boy that I was teaching at the time, who did not want to pay attention to what I was teaching, I gave this story to him, which my mother helped me to create as a just a sheet of. I was reading it to him, and he only had a picture of a garbage truck, and he so enjoyed it. I said, "Got to make this into a regular book," and here we are. And I think my student Reese, who I dedicated the book to, for inspiring me to do this particular educational feature that helps not only entertain, but it also teaches. And that's why I'm here today because we're looking at ways that we can strengthen our children's abilities to learn during a lesson of crossing the midline. And who knew? I knew nothing about this when I started teaching. The physical therapist and occupational therapist that came into my room were just so well versed in so many different subjects. But this one, and I had pretty much as a teacher, special ed students in special ed group of classroom teaching, had, I, 27 years. I'd seen a lot of different methods, and this really intrigued me because I had never heard of it. So we had talked about strengthening brain connectivity through crossing the midline, improving the bilateral coordination, and enhancing fine motor skills, and building better spatial awareness. But as I went into these points the last time we were together, I did not give you the punchline, which is when the brain is able to communicate, and I find this really phenomenally fascinating. When the brain is able to communicate effectively between the two hemispheres, they said it doesn't have to work as hard to fight against gravity, and it leaves more mental energy for the student to problem solve, attend to, and regulate their emotions and impulses. So it's the crossing the midline is one of the skills that helps a child gain executive functioning and fine motor skills. It covers so many topics, and that's why it's very important that we do incorporate this activity within our classroom day and at home. Parents, with your children at home. I mean, this is something that can be done very easily. So let me finish the last 3 points, and then I'll actually the last two. But the third point has to do with social benefits. And then I'll give you a few cross crawl types of midline activities that I've been doing. So, one of the points is language development. When you develop the midline connections or do crossing the midline, you're actually building brain connections for a positive impact on speaking because you have articulation that you're working with. And as you know, fine motor includes the tongue, the teeth, and being able to breathe in a proper way to get those explosive letters pronounced. And they said it actually helps a child understand better the language concepts. This is all amazing to me because I did the activities, but I had no idea that it was this encompassing. And then enhanced concentration and focus, the coordinated movements. The child stays engaged longer. Um, it's just amazing. So here is the one of the midline crossing activities that I did that was super, super, super easy and possible. We would just take our invisible chalk or crayon or marker. That's gives me my age away. We were using chalk, but we would go up to the whiteboard with a marker and do the lazy eights, and that's when you would make a lazy eight, eight lying on its side, and the child would just. I would start with a lazy eight, and then I would give a different color marker to another child, and they would have to stand up and make these large movements with their hands across the midline of their brains. Actually, when you go across your body, you're crossing the midline. And things that stay on the right, usually, you can write on the right. But when you're doing left to right, that's actually crossing the midline too. But the colored markers really made it a lot of fun. So those that lazy eight was one idea, and then you can incorporate that on the desk for quiet activity. I made a copy of an eight on its side, and the children would have to take like five different crayons and trace the lazy eight at least three times each. And so that would get them started. And then we did something called cross crawls. And that's when the child would stand up and I don't know if you could see me, okay, but they would touch the opposite knee with the opposite hand. And we would do that during the day for a break. And this was a perfect break just when things are getting a little too frenetic. We would just do our cross crawls and um, have a seat. So, when you needed just to move, a movement break, and it gave the child control over their situation. And we do it to music and a lot of different things like that. So those are um, two activities. I'm going to look at a couple more, but those are the two that I did, and I incorporated them in different times of the day. But so just to get you started, try these two. DM me, let me know how it worked out for you, and I'll meet you next time, and we'll talk about a few more activities that should be fun, but yet help a child's brain to function on both hemispheres and build those neuronal connections. Okay, take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.